What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Movie Madness. Now, we're going to be talking about WWE's debut of Raw on Netflix, and it was absolutely jam-packed. I mean, there was four events that basically were happening, and my predictions for 3 out of the 4, because one of them I wasn't 100% sure about, panned out exactly how I wanted. So without further ado, let's get into it, okay? Now, of course, the night started off with tribal combat, Solo Sikoa versus Roman Reigns, and it was such a nail-biter for this fight, because the winner of this fight would basically be the undisputed tribal chief. There would be no questions. Whoever lost had to acknowledge them. Whoever won got to keep the wise man. And man, did Solo Sikoa really put up a crazy fight when it came to going after Roman. I mean, there are a few times where I was like so worried for Roman, because it was just such a back and forth medley of, you know, chairs and tables, and it was just absolutely crazy. And then on top of that, of course, we had to get, because it was tribal combat, so there was really no rules as to, you know, who was gonna, you know, as to anything, honestly. And, you know, we had part of Solo's bloodline come out, and then, of course, Jimmy and Sammy came out to help Roman. And then Kevin Owens showed up and started getting involved, and then Cody Rhodes beat Kevin Owens up and got him out of the way. It was just a crazy medley of fighters. However, at the end of the day, our one and only OTC Roman Reigns pulled off the win, and now he is the undisputed tribal chief. I am super excited to see, you know, what happens and where he goes, and whether or not is Solo actually going to bow down. Is his followers going to follow in line with him, or is this just going to cause more drama later on? I'm sure it will if it's great storytelling, but congratulations, Roman Reigns, on the win. Next up was the fight for the Women's World Championship title, Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley. Now, Rhea Ripley was the holder of that title, but when Liv knocked her shoulder out and caused injury, she had to vacate it because she was unable to compete until she was better. So basically, she never really lost this title. So this was a big moment for her to come in and, you know, prove to everyone that it was her title and it never was meant to go to Liv. The fight itself was pretty dang crazy. I mean, I will give Liv some moments. She had some moments where she had Rhea on the ropes. Of course, Dirty Dom and Raquel Rodriguez kind of did some interference, but it still did not matter. Rhea Ripley continued to pull off hit after hit. And then when one riptide didn't work on Liv, she literally did 2 riptides, pin Liv Morgan. Rhea Ripley is the new freaking women's world champion, and if you just see this picture, I mean, the look on her face, she is just happy to have the title back. And we got a surprise cameo of freaking The Undertaker coming in on his motorcycle and basically congratulating Rhea Ripley on her win. This picture just awesome of them two just like looking back and everything. I mean, absolutely amazing. Congratulations, Rhea. You really deserved it, and I can't wait to see what you do. Next up was the fight between CM Punk and Seth freaking Rollins. And this fight was basically a big personal fight because of, you know, of all the things, the history between CM Punk and Seth Rollins, being that CM Punk basically in a way was a mentor to Seth Rollins in the beginning, and then, you know, as Seth kind of went into WWE, then CM Punk left and was talking all kinds of crap about the WWE, and then so Seth Rollins kind of, you know, as he says, carried, you know, the Raw show on his back. You know, he created it into what it is. And then when Seth Rollins decided to when CM Punk decided to come in and just come back just because he wanted a paycheck, you know, everybody opened him with welcome arms. So, you know, it just kind of pissed Seth off, and this was just like a back and forth personal fight, and it was pretty intense. I mean, it was so intense that they were using each other's moves on each other, and it was just crazy to see how some of these guys were just kicking out of like what seemed like they would just be knocked out completely. At the end of the day, though, turns out that CM Punk was the better man. You know, he hit Seth with 2 of those knee moves that he does, and he knocked him out, and it was just done and over with. But at the end of the fight, both guys looked completely spent. They looked like they were done. I'm hoping this is the end of it, but we will see. I mean, you know, Raw is all about this crazy storytelling, so we'll see what happens next week. The only word you can say for this last fight is yeet, because it was basically Jey Uso versus Drew McIntyre. Now, ever since Drew McIntyre came back, he's been making his personal mission to attack anybody who supports Roman Reigns, the OTC. He went after Jimmy Uso, and then he went after Sami Zayn, and then Jey Uso was next on his list. So this fight was just, you know, kind of some bitter, you know, I think I know better kind of fight, and Jey definitely pulled off amazing performance in this fight. I mean, it was absolutely crazy. Honestly, did seem that Drew was dominating the entire fight, and he just kept, you know, punishing Jey and putting him through things, and it just kept just ramming on him, and it was just absolutely insane. But Jey Uso literally pulled off the win, and in a crazy way he did too, because when Drew McIntyre was basically gonna kind of do the final move on him, Jey kind of rolled him up and then pinned him. 1, 2, 3, absolutely won. Freaking Drew McIntyre's face at the end of it was absolutely hilarious, because he's like, what the hell just happened? I am a huge fan of Jey Uso. He is my favorite. He's basically my favorite character on the whole entire roster. So congratulations, Jey Uso. Yeet. And I can't wait to see what happens next week. On top of all the crazy matches, we did have a lot of cameos of other characters. I mean, we had The Rock, who opened up the entire show, giving some credit to everybody, to Triple H. He even gave a shout out to Roman Reigns, to Cody Rhodes, which is a little surprising, but you know, and it was just very respectful, and he was there, I mean, even with his family, his mom, his 2 daughters and everything. So it was really awesome to see. Who else? Like I mentioned earlier, we had The Undertaker showing up for Rhea. Hulk Hogan was there trying to promote I think a beer that he was doing, but I mean, if you really listen to it, it seemed like the whole crowd was booing him, so I don't know what was all that about. Let's see. I mean, we had some great celebrities show up. Of course, Travis Scott, who came out with Jey Uso during his fight. He's the one who did the song basically for the whole, you know, Raw show from now on. And yeah, I mean, they just had a bunch of people, a bunch of celebrities. Almost everybody from both shows, SmackDown and Raw, were there. So it was a great medley of characters. We also got to see John Cena, him talking about his final, you know, this is going to be his final show, or you know, his final basically run this whole year. And he did say that he's going to be going into the Royal Rumble and try to win the Royal Rumble, so that way he can have a main event fight at WrestleMania. So we'll see what happens. I mean, who knows? Well, guys, that is it for me. What did you guys think of Raw on Netflix last night? Did you get a chance to see it? Did the people who you wanted to win? And, you know, tell me in the comments, like, what are you expecting for next week? What storylines are you excited to see? Because I definitely am super excited for a lot. Next big main events that are going to be coming out is Royal Rumble on February 1st, and an Elimination Chamber on March 1st. So you definitely know I'm going to be recapping those and talking about those, so keep an eye out for those videos. As always, I appreciate you guys for taking the time to watch this, and I'll see you on the next one.